Hi, John. How are you?
Hello, I'm very well. Very nice to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
So, John is a GBS lecturer. What do you teach currently, John?
I have been teaching academic uh, writing and research skills, and now I'm going to be lecturing on IT skills.
Wonderful. And what course are you teaching on?
The course is called Business and Entrepreneurship, Global Business
Yeah,
and Entrepreneurship with Oxford Brookes University.
very good. Thank you. So, you've had quite an illustrious career before joining GBS. Could you tell us a little bit more about some of the jobs you held?
Well, I studied law. I'm a sort of qualified lawyer from university, and then I went into the city, the financial centre, into investment banking, stockbroking, and wealth management. So I was employed then for quite a long time, and my job was really to go and bring in new clients, new institutional investors from Switzerland, Germany, from overseas basically,
Yeah.
and to talk to them about the Far East capital markets. That would have been Japan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and to give them ideas as institutional investors into what types of sectors or companies in the companies that are listed on those stock markets in the Far East they should be looking at. So it was a very competitive um, uh, job. I mean,
Yeah,
not just for me, but for everybody else
of course.
working in the company. And so one had to think of novel ways to come across differently. And that wasn't just to do with knowledge,
No, of
because everybody had the same knowledge. In
course.
fact, I can tell you that anybody looking at, say, a 5-year earnings forecast for a big bank like HSBC will find that there is probably a 10% difference. So you'll just take the average. But it's to do with timing, it's to do with weightings. And so I did this as an employee, and then I decided with two colleagues, we decided to go and start our own investment banking, fund management, stockbroking business. We had we were given a bit of a sort of heads up from some institutional clients who said, "Look, we'd like to have seasoned, experienced investment bankers, I guess, to talk to us rather than inexperienced young people relying on more of a crib sheet
Yeah.
to, as the Americans used to call it, smile and dial."
Fair
So
enough.
we did that, excuse me.
Okay.
So we did that. We set up a company in, I can't remember, 1990.
Oh,
And there were three of us. And then we opened offices, representative offices in Hong Kong, in
oh wow.
Mumbai. We were the first foreign broker there to open an office in Mumbai. And we did it in a joint venture with one of the big families there, the Bala family, and also, of course, in London, and then and in Bangkok in Thailand. So we created a boutique corporate finance, investment banking, stockbroking, private client wealth management business. We also created a small fund to invest in small companies in India back in 1992, 93, when it was just beginning to sort of take off. And we had some institutional investors, sort of banks, sovereign wealth funds, who in those days put in kind of small amounts of money for us to manage. And then we ended up selling the company. We would bid for our
Yeah.
business. We were about 130 people then.
Wow.
We sold it to a Thai group,
Fair
and
enough.
from then on, because I've been spending a lot of time toing and froing in the UAE and Abu Dhabi, I
Yeah.
then moved with my family to start a small, I guess you could call it, business development company with an office here in London, and
Cool.
as part of a family office
Yeah.
in Abu Dhabi, and that's a business that is still ongoing. So we make referrals for people who wanted to get in on the GCC or the UAE, but
Yeah.
GCC, Saudi economic wave.
Okay.
Um,
Very good.
and then I fell into enjoyably into lecturing, but actually it was really just an extension
Fair
of
enough.
having to pitch
Okay.
what we thought and what we did.
So when pitching, what IT technologies, what IT programs did you generally use?
PowerPoint,
Yeah.
PowerPoint presentations, Word, but essentially PowerPoint presentation.
Okay.
Sometimes it could be video, including video snaps of whatever, was the subject that we were pitching. But we tried to make it concise and clear and to the point quite quickly. So typically a PowerPoint presentation might take, say, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you'd leave 15, 20, 25 minutes for questions.
Makes sense. Very good. And how did you communicate with your colleagues? So you said you had 130 employees at at the fund place at one point.
Yeah, well, this is going to date me a bit because we didn't have the benefit of Teams,
Yeah.
or Zoom, which we have today. But we used to have conference calls.
Okay.
Actually, it's not true. We had the equivalent, so we could have, Skype type
Okay.
technology. So we'd be in a conference room. However many people there would be, let's say in London,
Yeah.
we would be conferencing with our team in Hong Kong to find out what was happening in the region, any sort of political or economic developments in China, for example, which played a pretty important role in and influence
of course.
in the capital markets in Southeast Asia. So yeah, we'd have a conference machine,
Sure.
sometimes a screen.
Okay. Yeah. But would you say that conferencing was more important than emailing people?
Yeah, because
for
it
you?
was a media, and particularly if you had, visuals. I mean, if there was
course.
a screen, you
Yeah.
can catch people's attention, or what maybe they found interesting about whatever we were discussing.
And my last question, please, is how would you search for academic sources or sources in general when you had to do your presentations? Obviously, you needed the materials, right?
Actually, we always used the marketplace. I mean, we in Mumbai, we had our own research team.
Okay.
But for all the other information, part of it came from experience and knowing those markets and
Yeah.
knowing most of the company. But what we found most important and useful was primary. So, we would go and visit companies in
Okay.
South Korea, or visit companies in Japan, or visit companies in Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Philippines, Thailand, face to face,
Yeah.
maybe go and spend a week or 10 days there, try and get 3 or 4, 5 company visits per day.
Yeah.
We'd have set questions. We do research from, there was a lot of research being put out by large companies.
How did you know if a piece of research was high quality or if it wasn't credible?
It would be a reputational thing based on whoever was providing the research. And also what would happen, particularly with a correspondent, if it makes sense, stockbrokers in Japan or Southeast Asia, we would give them business, and they would give us a research in return.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you normally went to the top names, you could be pretty sure that the quality of the research was good. However, there was nothing like doing it yourself.
No, absolutely. Thank you very much.